Welcome. We have a custom deep dive lined up just for you today. Our mission is to tear into this honestly staggering intelligence report from March 9th, 2026.
Yeah, it's a massive one.
It really is. I mean, this date essentially marks the exact moment artificial intelligence crossed the line from experimental research into foundational military industrial infrastructure. So, okay, let's unpack this. We are looking at a 24-hour window of just total synchronization, simultaneous frontier model drops, a $110 billion funding monopoly, and a major corporate rebellion over AI in warfare.
The sheer density of movement in that single day is, well, it fundamentally rewired the global economy. It's rare to see the financial, technological, and national security plates all shift at the exact same time like that.
Right. Let's start with the financial earthquake. OpenAI pulled in a $110 billion capital injection. Heavyweights like SoftBank, NVIDIA, and Amazon pooling resources. But the source material highlights a highly classified Pentagon contract attached to that money authorizing, quote, any lawful use of OpenAI's tech. And the documents show this sparked an immediate internal and public reaction. Can you break down that fallout?
So what's fascinating here is how the term any lawful use just fractured the industry. And to be clear, we are simply reporting the facts from the documents here. We're not taking any political sides. But that specific phrase led OpenAI's head of robotics, Caitlin Kalinowski, to resign.
Wow.
Yeah, her stated concern was that the contract could enable mass surveillance and lethal autonomous weapons.
And the public reaction followed suit, right? With ChatGPT uninstall spiking 300% over a single weekend.
Exactly. And the report notes Anthropic took the exact opposite route under the same military pressure. They flat out rejected the military terms, enforcing strict bans on surveillance and lethal autonomy. Consequently, the Pentagon slapped them with a supply chain risk designation.
So you have two dominant players making entirely different bets on military integration, and both are absorbing massive geopolitical consequences.
Right.
But while that schism was happening, the tech itself was evolving in ways that directly hit your daily workflow. The big three simultaneously released new models, standardizing a 1 million token context window. The sources note OpenAI's GPT 5.4 now features interruptible reasoning. How does that actually change how we interact with the model?
Basically, it means you no longer have to wait for the model to finish a massive output before correcting it. If you see the AI going down a dead end during a complex coding task, you can pause its reasoning midstream.
Inject a new parameter and course correct.
Yes, it turns prompting into an active, real-time collaboration.
Meanwhile, Anthropic's Claude 4.6 took a different angle with something called context compaction. The report mentions it audited the entire Firefox codebase and flagged 22 vulnerabilities. But what exactly is context compaction?
Instead of just holding a million tokens loosely in its memory, the model actively compresses sprawling codebases or datasets into highly dense, actionable memory. It grasps the entire architecture of Firefox simultaneously without losing fidelity.
But it wouldn't write the exploits for them.
Correct. Notably, because of their internal guardrails we mentioned earlier, the model refused to write exploits for those 22 bugs. It acts as a perfect defensive shield, but halts at offensive cyber warfare.
Add in Google's Gemini 3.1 operating as a room-reading cloud agent, literally adapting to subtle human intents across workflows, and you see how powerful these tools have become. But running these millions of tokens simultaneously hit a hard physical ceiling. I was reading through the infrastructure notes, and it seems gigawatt-scale AI factories are literally burning out traditional copper wiring.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the electrical resistance in standard copper simply generates too much heat at this immense data load. The compute demand outpaced the laws of physics for traditional wiring.
Which explains NVIDIA's massive $4 billion pivot to silicon photonics. The report says they are achieving 1.6 terabit speeds by swapping electricity for light.
Using optical links rather than electrical ones gives you a 20-fold increase in energy efficiency. But transitioning the physical hardware layer escalates the manufacturing stakes immensely. As this new infrastructure becomes vital, the supply chain becomes a national security flashpoint. The intelligence report details an active investigation into a former TSMC executive who allegedly leaked sub-2 nanometer chip designs to Intel.
Controlling the physical substrate of AI is now just as critical as the software. It's incredible how the digital bleeds into the physical, and it's not just geopolitical tension. The scientific breakthroughs in this report are wild. The AI actually discovered liquid-like ion flows for solid-state EV batteries. Walk us through the mechanics of that.
Historically, solid-state batteries struggle because ions don't move easily through solid materials, which severely slows down charging. The AI, using machine learning to parse millions of molecular structures, identified a specific physical phenomenon where ions move with the fluid dynamics of a liquid while remaining in a solid lattice.
This effectively paves a way for instant charging EVs, something human researchers might have taken decades to synthesize. So bringing this all together, what is the ultimate takeaway for anyone trying to navigate this landscape?
It requires a fundamental shift in how we view this technology. AI is no longer just a digital assistant living on a server. It is actively designing the physical, geopolitical, and scientific infrastructure of the global economy. It's dictating battery chemistry, military contracts, and international espionage.
And here's where it gets really interesting to think about. Our sources show AI is now discovering new material properties and driving the shift to silicon photonics, optimizing its own hardware substrates using light. If AI is already accelerating its own physical evolution, how long until human engineers are completely designed out of the loop in creating the next generation of intelligence? Something to consider as you go about your day. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.